June 17th. International Airlines Flight 42. A routine journey from Washington to London. Clear skies. Predictable winds. Nothing on the radar. Until everything changed. When Flight 42 entered an Atlantic storm, but didn't just cross oceans, they crossed time. One moment, modern skies. The next, flak explosions, vintage fighter planes, and radio static crackling with voices from 1940. Now, stranded over Nazi-occupied France with dwindling fuel, Captain William Strong faces an impossible choice. Land in a war zone, or chase the storm that brought them here. Their instruments lie. History itself is their only map. This is the story of 217 souls who flew into the past and fought to return home. German voice, filtered Achtung. Unbekanntes Flugzeug. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on schedule for our hour-and-a-half flight to London. The weather is clear, so please sit back and enjoy the journey. A passenger comments on another's unchanged haircut, suggesting they see with imagination. Flight attendants move through the cabin. One offers refreshments politely, but is met with refusals. A passenger declines, mentioning last night's party. Nearby, two people exchange promises to meet again. In the cockpit, First Officer Daniel reports all checks complete. Captain Cameron remains tense, dismissing Daniel's assurances. Suddenly, instruments flicker. Daniel suggests a short circuit, but the captain snaps, demanding solutions. Ground control confirms intermittent instrument failure, but assures a clear path ahead. Captain Cameron mutters in frustration. This isn't how he flies. Without warning, ground control alerts them to a sudden, massive storm ahead, contradicting earlier forecasts. They declare an emergency. SK 7700. The cabin crew urgently instructs passengers to fasten seatbelts as turbulence hits violently. The plane shudders violently. A passenger panics. The flight is going to crash. The captain steadies himself, commanding Daniel to hold course through the chaos. As suddenly as it began, the storm vanishes. Night has fallen, though sunset was an hour away. Confused passengers stir. Captain Cameron makes an announcement, blaming the sudden darkness on crossing the Bermuda Triangle. He jokes weakly, "Don't worry, you'll see sunset again tomorrow." Below deck, tension rises. Navigation systems are dead. Radios emit static. Daniel notes only the radar works. Outdated, but functional. The captain reassures him grimly. In the cabin, two professors, historians en route to a London conference, discuss artifacts. One sketches frantically. A flight attendant interrupts, but the professor dismisses her, fixated on a map of Hitler's routes to Argentina. Daniel spots multiple planes on radar, impossible for their route. Captain Cameron descends cautiously. Through clouds, they see explosions below. Not lightning, but anti-aircraft fire. A warship looms. The captain orders lights off and evasive maneuvers. A passenger demands answers, fearing they'll be shot down like planes over Ukraine. Crew restrains him. Cameron contacts ground control again, voice strained. Flight 42 out of Dallas were lost. Possible German bombers sighted. Static crackles back. Then, a voice cuts through, speaking 1940s aviation jargon. "This is Captain William Strong. Identify yourself." The cockpit falls silent. The radio voice insists. "This is a localized emergency channel. Are you saying you're in an aircraft?" Corporal Neil Sheffield's voice cuts through the radio static, sharp with military precision. "This is Corporal Neil Sheffield intercepting long-range transmissions. You forget, entering aircraft in this airspace is suicide right now." Captain Cameron's frustration bleeds into his reply. "I don't have time for nonsense. Can you connect me to civilian air traffic control?" Sheffield's response is icy. "Air traffic control? This is a war zone. There's no one here to help you." The captain insists they're a commercial airline, lost and desperate. Sheffield's skepticism hardens. "Commercial? You're flying through German bombing territory." "Unlikely." When pressed for the date, the corporal's reply chills the cockpit. "It's June 17th, 1940. Don't your fancy calendars work?" A professor's voice interrupts. urgent and scholarly. Captain, we know where we are. We just passed the Rhine River, near St. Nazaire. The bombing timing matches perfectly. We're directly over where the RMS Lancastrius sank. Sheffield's tone shifts from suspicion to stunned curiosity. If you're serious, prove it. Tell me something only British intelligence would know. The professors fire back, voices trembling with conviction. The Luftwaffe lost 11 Junkers, Ju-88s, and 3 prototype Bf-110s today. Confirm it with your command. A beat of silence. Then Sheffield's clipped reply. If this isn't a hoax, call back in 30 minutes. I'll verify. Captain Cameron's fist slams the console. We can't wait 30 minutes. Give us 5. The radio dies mid-static. Sheffield's final words hang in the air. I'll do what I can. God help us. In the cabin, passengers clutch armrests as the plane banks sharply. Below, the shadowed French coastline flickers with distant explosions, a war they shouldn't witness. Fuel gauges dip, radars blink empty, and 30 minutes feels like eternity. Fuel gauges dip below half tank as the professors trace flight paths on maps. Show the coordinates you found, urges the captain. If we know our route, we might calculate our range. Corporal Sheffield's voice bursts through the speakers, tense but controlled. Captain Strong, we verified your intel. The Lancastrius sank exactly where you said. Command confirms the lost Luftwaffe planes too. A collective gasp fills the cockpit. Sheffield continues. But your time travel story? We're treating it as classified tactical information. What do you need? In the cabin, panic erupts. A passenger stands, shouting, "Ladies and gentlemen, the crew's hiding the truth. We've traveled through time. We're over World War II France." Crew members try to restrain him. "Sir, sit down. You're terrifying people." The man shakes them off, eyes wild. "Don't you see? We can change history. Kill Hitler before he rises. This plane can be our weapon." 2 soldiers intervene as the hijacker lunges toward the cockpit. One pins his arms. "Terrorism isn't patriotism. Stand down." The hijacker snarls. "You think you can stop me? We could be heroes." A professor shouts over the chaos. "One mistake dooms us all. If we crash land, the Nazis get our technology, and this history book detailing their future defeats. They'll win the war because of us." The soldiers shove the hijacker into a seat, zip-tying his wrists. "Seat. Silence, or we sedate you." Back in the cockpit, Sheffield's voice turns grave. "Captain, Dunkirk was a massacre. We're broken, but your intel saved lives. What now?" Captain Cameron grips the yoke, eyes on the fuel gauge. "We need a safe landing zone. Fast, or we won't survive the hour." Sheffield's voice tightens over the radio. "Captain, Dunkirk was a slaughter. 500,000 dead. If you're right about time travel, this isn't the past we know." Captain Cameron's knuckles whiten on the controls. "Then help us find a safe path, and tell us about any unusual storms." Sheffield responds fast. "Change course now. Germans are tracking a giant aircraft. They mean you. Turn to heading 270. Can you make yourselves visible?" "Running lights only," Cameron barks, flicking switches. Let's hope analog still works. Suddenly, radar screams, a blip closing fast. "Bandit! 9 o'clock!" Daniel shouts. Passengers gasp as the plane banks violently. "Eyes sharp," Cameron orders. Nobody speaks of this. Sheffield's transmission crackles. "Urgent. Germans are on your tail?" "We're en route, but..." 4 sleek shadows pierce the clouds. Messerschmitt Me-262s, the world's first jet fighters. A German voice crackles over open frequency. "Was ist das? Ein Teufelsflugzeug." "What is this? A devil's aircraft?" Daniel freezes. "Jets. In 1940. Hold fire," Cameron commands. "Wait for my..." Tracer rounds streak past the windows. The cabin shudders. They're firing. Evasive maneuvers. Diving below, Cameron wrenches the yoke. "Sheffield, where are you?" Static. Then a broken reply. "Engaging bandits. ARG. Stay alive, 42. We'll draw there. Sheffield's voice cuts dead. The German jets close in, cannons blazing. They're still on us. Daniel yells. Cameron spots a spiraling green storm ahead, identical to the one that brought them here. His voice drops, lethal calm. New plan? Take us straight into that storm. Daniel pales. But last time, do it. Full throttle. As they plunge toward the vortex, Cameron whispers. Altitude 3,000. Brace for hell. 3,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Daniel shouts as the plane plunges toward the storm. Bullets rip through the cabin. A passenger screams, clutching a bleeding shoulder. Medic, we need first aid in the cockpit now. A flight attendant rushes forward, assessing the wound. It's not deep. Stay calm, just pressure. The passenger grimaces. Hurts like hell. Cameron barks over his shoulder. Plane status? Critical. Fuel hemorrhaging. Depressurization. We can't climb past 15,000 feet. Sheffield's voice suddenly crackles through static. Cameron, we're out of range. Hide in clouds or die talking. The captain makes a decision. Daniel, take the controls. I'm telling them the truth. Passengers erupt as Cameron enters the aisle. When will we land? Are we dying? Silence. The captain's voice cuts through the chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Captain William Strong. The minor storm we hit wasn't minor. My co-pilot and these professors believe we've traveled through time. A stunned hush falls. Per ground contacts, we're over France in June 1940. We're in a war zone. Our only hope is to hide in clouds and find safe landing. But he takes a breath. Our landing gear is damaged by enemy fire. It won't deploy. I need volunteers to crawl into the belly of this bird with me and fix it. Who's coming? Asterisk. 3 volunteers step forward. Teresa, an engineer. Hector, a trembling passenger. And Neil, the soldier who earlier stopped the hijacking. Hydraulics expert? Perfect. Captain Cameron nods, leading them toward the belly hatch. Wait here, Neil orders the professors. This needs muscle. In the roaring underbelly, hydraulic fluid sprays like blood. Teresa shouts over the gale. The pin's sheared. We need to slice the jammed line. Hector's hands shake as he passes tools. Cameron grips his shoulder. Time travel's impossible, right? Everything's possible with belief. Captain. Hector yells back. Neil wedges himself into the gear assembly. Doors open. Try to force the gear down. No. Teresa screams. It's buckling. We need to close it first. Slow to 150 knots. Cameron orders the cockpit. Reduce wind pressure. Suddenly, a violent gust tears Neil toward the void. Hold on. Hector lunges, grabbing Neil's belt. Let me go. Neil roars. This plane needs 2 pilots. Save them. Neil plunges into darkness, but not before slamming the manual release lever. With a final, echoing clunk, the landing gear locks into place. Hector collapses, sobbing. Cameron stares at the closed gear, voice thick. It's done. Because of these heroes. Over the intercom, Daniel's tearful voice confirms. Landing gear secure, Captain. How's Neil? Cameron looks at the empty harness. He bought our future. Now let's land in it. Fuel critical. 90 minutes left. We're straddling the Swiss border. Your turn, Brianna. Captain Cameron surrenders the controls. Radio crackling. Neil, come in. Static, then Sheffield's ragged voice. Captain, you're alive. How'd you escape those? Cloud cover. Listen, we're over Swiss airspace. 80 minutes of fuel. We need that storm. Describe it again. Black clouds, with blue energy at the core. Like lightning, but alive. A pause. Sheffield's voice tightens. Command's interrogating me about your radar tech. What can you share? Bennett, the engineer, grabs the mic. It's mounted on the nose. Scans like a bullseye. Shows distance on cockpit screens. Saved our lives. Sheffield's all bleeds through. If you Yanks join this war with tech like this. Neil, Cameron cuts in. Bandits. 2 o'clock. They're boxing you. Tracers light up the cabin. 1 ahead, 1 behind. Brace. Cameron wrenches the yoke into a corkscrew dive. Steady, steady. Now. The plane lurches upward. Passengers slam against seatbelts. A child wails. Silence. Then Cameron's voice, hoarse. Status. Passengers and crew. Windows shattered. Passengers terrified but alive. Captain Cameron grips the yoke, eyes on the faltering radar. We're trapped. This system only sees immediate threats now. Professor Bennett leans forward urgently. But if we give Neil our radar, drop it to the British, they could turn the tide. Change history back. Or doom it worse, Cameron mutters. Dunkirk already proves time's unraveling. Bennett slams his fist. You said it yourself. We've no options left. Tell Neil his Christmas present's coming early. A missile streaks from below. The plane lurches as Cameron throws it into a dive. Ground launch. Brace. Miraculously, they emerge intact. Neil's voice breaks through static, frantic. You okay? Still breathing, Cameron gasps. Listen, we're 100 miles from Swiss border. We're sending you a gift. Our radar. Find us a drop zone. A stunned pause. You're sure? Only way home. You'll pass Mathis Wood in 10 minutes. Send troops. Cameron barks orders. Asterisk. Daniel, take Hector and Teresa. Cut the radar from the nose. Cushion it for a 1,000-foot drop. Asterisk. Below deck, passengers rally. A grandmother offers her quilted bag. For the parachute. Took it for my London grandchildren. USB batteries? Teresa shouts. Anything for padding. Passengers toss power banks into the hollowed radar unit as Daniel slices mounting bolts. 10,000 feet. Hurry, Bennett yells. Neil's voice cuts in, tense. Germans spotted the package. Calling off Allied strikes now. Teresa seals the makeshift parachute. Ready. With a final heave, they shove the radar bundle into the void. Daniel watches it vanish in a cloud cover. Package away, Captain. Repeat. Package is airborne. Silence hangs. Did history just pivot? Cameron whispers into the void. Bring us home, Neil. Troops deployed at double speed. Neil's voice cracks with urgency. But enemy fighters are closing fast. Do we engage? Repeat, do we engage? Below, British soldiers scramble through Mathis Wood. There, up the ridge. Go, go, go. A sergeant spots the radar bundle caught in tree branches. Careful, that's our future. Neil's transmission cuts through cockpit static. Fuel critical, Captain. Did they? Almost there. A soldier yells below as he frees the precious cargo. Package recovered. Neil's voice swells with triumph. You're our guiding angel. Now move, bandits inbound. Two German Mi-262s dive like hawks. Cannon fire rips across the fuselage. It's World War II, for sure now. Daniel grits his teeth. Can't outrun them. Suddenly, British Spitfires roar from the clouds. Got you back, 42. Neil's wingman radios. Welcome to 1940. As Spitfires draw the Germans away, Neil barks coordinates. Southeast. Hit the storm wall now. Cameron plunges the battered plane into swirling black clouds laced with blue lightning. The cabin shakes violently. Steady. Neil's voice distorts, fading. Clear skies ahead. I'll guide you home. The plane bursts through into blinding sunlight. Modern London sprawls below. Daniel's hands tremble on the controls. Heathrow approach. This is Flight 42. Requesting emergency landing. A familiar voice answers. 2024 Air Traffic Control. Tears streak Cameron's face as the Thames glitters. Neil, you did it. The vortex looms. A swirling maw of black clouds and blue lightning. Neil's voice fights the static. A massive thermal dead ahead. Change course. There's nothing beyond it, but... Captain Cameron cuts in, calm and final. That nothing brought us here, and it's taking us home. He pushes the throttles forward. Neil's protest cracks. 10 minutes fuel left. Let me find you safe ground. No, Cameron says softly. This is our runway. Passengers clutch armrests, praying silently as the world tears apart. Neil's last words fade into the maelstrom. Godspeed, Flight 42. Keep the skies blue. Lufthansa Heavy, Frankfurt approach. Where'd you come from? We lost you over Germany's TMA sector. Daniel laughs through tears. Long story. Feel exhausted. Request emergency landing. The plane glides silently over Frankfurt skyline. 2024, sunlit. Ordinary. Cleared any runway. Welcome back to the future. Passengers stumble onto the tarmac, embracing ground crew. An old man kisses the pavement. Teresa hugs Hector, both streaked with hydraulic fluid. Professor Bennett stares at the sunrise, whispering, "What year is this?" A security officer chuckles. "Still 2024, Captain. Welcome to Germany." As the crowd thins, Cameron lingers in the empty cabin. A lone passenger waits. Neil's a soldier friend, clutching a dented canteen. "Captain, one unfinished task." He places the canteen in Cameron's hands. "Neil's. From Matheswood. They found it after." Engraved on the base. "Not all heroes land." Cameron opens his logbook, pen hovering. "Sorry to keep you waiting, Neil," he murmurs. "But you were right. No time like the present." His pen meets paper. June 17th, 1940. Delivered hope. Paid in courage. Came home. The captain steps into the light, leaving the canteen on the empty co-pilot's seat. Flight 42 landed safely. History remembers Dunkirk differently now, and in a quiet corner of London's Imperial War Museum, you'll find a weathered canteen beside a radar unit labeled Unknown Origin, circa 1940. Some journeys change the world. Others change us. If this flight through time moved you, help us keep stories like this airborne. Tap subscribe to join our next adventure into the unknown. Your like tells us these tales matter. Where should we travel next? A ghost ship in the Bermuda Triangle? A train that vanishes in the Alps? Drop your theories in the comments. For Captain Strong, Professor Bennett, and all who brave the storms between worlds, this is your storyteller signing off. Until our next flight through time.